The fundamental change is that whereas there will be the Executive Child Protection Committee, it will be headed for the first time by the heads of those actual departments, and the committee will set strategy and policy. And within that framework, they will then delegate to a second committee comprised of managers of those different agencies and departments to implement those policies and strategies. Part of their remit will be to analyze trends and statistics which will be fed into by the different agencies that I've mentioned, and thereby identify which areas require additional protection, safeguarding children. Remember that the role of this committee in effect is to make sure that, for example, in the important area of recruitment at schools and in other areas where there are children, that recruitment is done safely. Also to make sure that in cases of parental or other abuse that there are proper safeguarding procedures. And all of that is done by the functional managers who will be implementing the strategy, and then of course reporting back to the executive committee to see whether the strategies and policies are being adhered to. One of the things that I want to say is that the Child Protection Committee will make a report which will be made public at the end of the year, which, if I recall correctly, finishes in April, which will set out the work that has been conducted to date.
What are some of the initiatives planned or underway to tackle some of these areas? For example, the question of provision for young offenders has been raised both at the election and also recently.
Well, this is exactly the very thing, the very substratum of part of the remit of the committee. Because you have the Royal Gibraltar Police and the Department of Education, they will be able to discuss how best to protect children, how best to safeguard children, and also what are the best strategies to prevent children from entering into behaviour that may unfortunately at some point lead to criminality. Whereas it is because perhaps they are surrounding themselves with wrong company after school, or because unfortunately in unique cases in Gibraltar they may not be receiving the what we expect to be the proper safeguarding and leadership of parents at home.